Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gyges' Great Debate. Standing behind me we have Carol Gilligan, Peter Singer, Immanuel Kant, Thomas Hobbs, and Ayn Rand. The format of this debate will be opening statement, objections, and replies and/or a closing statement. This will progress until each philosopher has had a turn to make their case. Today's topic is justice between generations. The general issues at stake in today's debate are, justice for whom? Should we count animals? And lastly, which philosophy is the best choice to answer the main topic? Ms. Gilligan, you are up first. Please state your name, your philosophy, and your core beliefs as they relate to justice between generations.
Hello. My name is Carol Gilligan and I represent feminism and care ethics. Men and women think differently. Women respond to the personal aspects of a situation and men respond to principles and rules. All of the other moral theories are created from a male perspective because they were created by males. They all negate or ignore personal relationships, such as family and friends. Family and friends are special. Moral life is a network of relationships with specific people, and living well is caring for those people, attending to their needs, and maintaining their trust.
Thank you, Ms. Gilligan. Each of the others can now raise their objections, one person at a time, starting with you, Mr. Singer.
No one is more special than anyone else. We are all equal, including the animals.
On the whole, human beings are special, but relationships do not matter. Any exception to a rule made in one case must be acceptable in all cases.
Humans are self-interested and need moral rules in order to make altruism possible. The social contract makes care ethics and justice possible.
The individual matters most. If we all take care of ourselves, then we will all be cared for.
Okay, Ms. Gilligan. Your final thoughts?
You all forget human relationships. Humans do not live life in a sterile vacuum. We interact with each other and form tight bonds. Our interactions with our family and friends are much different than our professional ones. Justice between friends or family members is much different than the justice of a court system. There are reasons why family members are not compelled to testify against each other and why judges cannot try family members. These are conflicts of interest.
Thank you, Ms. Gilligan. Mr. Singer, you're next.
My name is Peter Singer and I represent utilitarianism. Utilitarianism's main tenet can be summarized as if it feels good, then it must be good. However, there is more to it than that. Utilitarianism also focuses on consequences, what will happen as a result of a particular action. We also must treat each person's happiness as equally important. Humans are not special. Animals are equally as important as humans.
Thank you, Mr. Singer. Now for the objections, starting with you, Miss Gilligan.
People and relationships matter the most, not simply consequences or mere pleasure.
Animals are here only to serve man's purposes. Humans have dignity and intrinsic worth. There can be no justice without punishing those who are unjust. However, the punishment must fit the crime. Respecting other people requires we respect ourselves as well.
Human altruism is limited in scope. It is unlikely that anyone would attempt to try to account for everyone's happiness all of the time. Once man transcends the state of nature into the civil state, he is above the animals.
The individual matters most. If we all take care of ourselves, then we will all be cared for.
Okay, Mr. Singer. Do you have a rebuttal?
Yes, I do. Who decided that animals are not equal to or better than humans? What makes us so special? Utilitarianism works great to evaluate decisions and make sure that we take into account how our decisions affect everyone around us. A just outcome should negatively impact as few people as possible, with none impacted as the goal.
Thank you, Mr. Singer. You may sit down now. Next up we have Mr. Kant.
Hello, my name is Immanuel Kant. I represent retributivism. Apparently, someone along the way attached my name to it. How thoughtful. Anyway, human beings occupy a special place in creation. Animals are here to serve man's purposes. Humans have dignity and intrinsic worth. We should abide by the golden rule, do unto others that which you would want done to you. We should always use people as a means, never as an end. People are punished because they committed a crime, and that punishment has to fit the crime. We should always tell the truth. We should only do actions that conform to rules that we could will to be adopted universally. Morality is a system of rules that one must follow from a sense of duty.
Thank you, Mr. Kant. Objections, please.
What about relationships? Relationships matter too.
Animals are just as important as humans.
Not only should we only do actions that conform to rules that we could will to be adopted universally, but those rules should be accepted by everyone.
We do unto others because we want to be treated the same way in return.
Thank you. Mr. Kant, do you have a reputation?
Mr. Singer, your utilitarianism denies justice because its arguments do not always favor the fairest outcome. How can you expect one to follow your advice if you never follow it yourself?
But, Mr. Kant, you have not heard mine yet.
I don't need to. I remember it from back when I was alive the first time.
Gentlemen, please. Mr. Hobbs, you will have your turn next. You can address Mr. Kant's assertion then. Mr. Hobbs, you're up now.
Thank you. My name is Thomas Hobbs and I represent social contract theory. Without rules, there would be anarchy. The purpose of government is to enforce vital moral rules. Morality is a solution to the practical problem of how to live well. Morality is a set of rules governing behavior that rational people will accept, on the condition that others accept them as well. There are 4 basic facts about human life. 1. Equality of need. 2. Scarcity. 3. The essential equality of human power. And 4. Limited altruism.
Thank you, Mr. Hobbs. Are there any objections?
Morality is not just simply a bunch of rules. It's about caring for people, especially those closest to us.
Is morality just about social living? What about happiness?
We should only do actions that conform to rules that we could will to be adopted universally.
Altruism leads to a denial of the value of the individual.
Thank you. Mr. Hobbs, you may now address Mr. Kant and the others.
Thank you. Mr. Kant, you and I seem to agree for the most part, so much of this will not be directed at you. However, as for the rest of you, how can society function without rules? There are rules within families just as much as there are rules within societies and governments. How can we establish justice without rules?
Mr. Hobbs, that's a good question. Thank you. Finally, last, but certainly not least, we have Ms. Rand.
Thank you. Hello. My name is Ayn Rand and I represent ethical egoism. The individual matters most. Self-interest accounts for all of one's obligations. Ethical egoism regards the golden rule from a selfish point of view. We do unto others because we want to be treated the same way in return. Altruism leads to a denial of the value of the individual.
Thank you, Ms. Rand. Are there any objections?
If everyone cared for others, then every individual will be cared for as well.
Am I more special than someone else? No. We are all equal. My needs are not above anyone else's needs.
We should not treat other people merely as a means to an end. They should always be treated as an end, never as a means only.
In the state of nature, man is self-centered. However, once he reaches the civil state, altruism becomes possible. In order for civil society to function, man must care about.
Thank you. Ms. Rand, do you have a reply?
None of you take the individual into account. How am I going to be sure that my needs will be taken care of if I am constantly troubling myself with everyone else's needs? Who cares for the mother while she is constantly caring for her children and her husband? Who is going to care about my business if I am solely concerned with the businesses of others? How can I ensure that I am treated justly if I am only concerned with treating others justly? How is only caring for others going to help me?
Others as well as himself.
Thank you, Ms. Rand. Well, that concludes the debate portion. Can we come to a consensus? Well, Mr. Singer and Mr. Hobbs can agree that we need to take heed of others. Ms. Gilligan can agree to that too insofar as those others only include one's friends and family. Ms. Rand is at odds with everyone because she is only concerned for the individual, while all of the others care for others to a certain degree. I think the general consensus here is agree to disagree. Thank you all for joining today's debate.